Okay, seems to me that the connection is not good enough for you to finish the activity. So later on you can add entry to that process. Now for phonological analysis, you can focus on the two levels that we commonly discuss: the segmental and supra-segmental units. Now, these are the different units within each area that we can focus our attention on the segmental phenomena. We can compare and contrast phoneme and the phoneme variant. I mean, the different ways of pronouncing the same phoneme. For example, in English, it's the same phoneme up, right? We can have aspirated and non-aspirated variants. For the suprasegmental phenomena, we compare the stress, intonations, and rhythm. Now we will start looking at the units in a little bit more details by comparing and contrasting the charts of the two languages. Now, Lado suggests that we have to ask three key questions before we start investigating similarities and differences across language pairs. The first question is, does the native language have phonetically similar phoneme? For example, if p exists in English, does it exist in Vietnamese? Yeah. If j, like in John, Jim, John, exists in English, does it exist in Vietnamese? It is two questions. So, does this phoneme exist in the other language that we compare with the mother tongue? The next question is for the variance of the phoneme. Are the variance of the phoneme the same across the two languages? And lastly, we look at the distribution of those phonemes. Okay? So look at the phoneme, their variance, and their distribution. For example, that if per exists in both English and Vietnamese, are they distributed in the same way? For example, are they normally distributed at the beginning of the syllable or at the end of the syllable? Now, when we classify the TC, I hope you still remember what TC is for, right? What is it for? Okay, that is a Latin word, so you can forget. So what is a TC by definition? The similarities only?
Common platform.
Yeah, okay. That's good. It's a common framework of platform against which we can infer similarities and differences. Okay, with the first questions, the native language have a phonetically similar phoneme. We can look at these three areas: phonetics, articulatory phonetics, acoustic phonetics, and auditory phonetics. Now, you are quite familiar with the first kind of phonetics and phonology, in which we investigate the manner of articulation and the place articulation. Hope you still remember these two concepts. Can you give me some examples of manner of articulation? Nasal. What else? manner of articulation for but, like band, view. What is the manner of articulation? It's lip and tip together. What do you call it? Yeah, good memory. Labial dental. And then what? And then place articulation. Can you give me some examples of place of articulation when you produce sounds? Now let's talk about consonants first. Open, mid, and close. Is that right? Like when you open the mouth wide, you close the mouth, or the mouth is in middle position. Is that right? No, that's half right. That's for the vowel. And how about the consonants? Right, we will look at that later. Huh? Now that's why I need to ask you to review the key concepts over there. Now in acoustic phonetics, we compare and contrast images of the sound from software applications. I think you have used sound editing applications sometimes, like sound force, like Phonological, I mean, any sound editing application will allow you to see what the waveform, okay, the amplitude, whether it is very loud or is it very short, the amplitude of the sound and the pitch, okay, will show you where the energy will focus. Have you ever tried to use those software applications to improve the singing, for example? Yeah, they are called vocalist software, and it helps you to see where your voice is on the music track. When you sing like la 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 la, is it at the right note on the track? Do re fa re do, right? So those are the applications that people use for working with acoustics, phonology. If you find that interesting, you can try to install some of those applications for acoustics. We call vocalist software applications, and good for training your voice, for enlarging your range. Now, so with acoustic phonetics and phonology, people will try to compare and contrast different variants of the same language, and this area of study is particularly useful for speech recognition application in cell phones and in similar devices. They use this because in cell phones, in iPads, and in control devices. So that's how cell phones now can understand Vietnamese speaking English. It can understand Indian speaking English, and it can understand native speakers like British, American speakers. Okay. Although our production of the sound, I mean the acoustic images of the sounds that we make will be essentially different from those of the native speaker. computers can understand that end state. They can understand it quite well. Thanks to the study of acoustics, phonetics. And lastly, people can also work on auditory phonetics and phonology. It's about how people receive the sound signals from different sources. And these are very good examples. I have already discussed the reasons behind using H instead of PH in writing this word already, right? Because these consonants sounds exactly right, exactly like the consonant as it is to the listener, to the writer. And then when you use PH, you just say pa, pa, right? Like pa, not pa, one consonant. Yeah.
But the sound from the H in Vietnamese sound different from the H in
yeah, exactly so.
not H, so
Now, about 2 or 3 years ago, when Alexander Roth first came to Vietnam, and he started to record the Vietnamese sounds, what we call inventorizing the sound system of Vietnamese. In the earliest dictionary that Alexander Roth compiled, phở were like this, phở, and a little h here, phở, a little h, and a hook. So, 2 or 3 years ago, Vietnamese would say phở, phái, hường. So, phở with a little bit of the schwa sound. And gradually that's what sound dropped. But because of the nature of writing, it's always more conservative. So people keep the spelling of the word as they are 100 years ago. Okay, so this is a good example of how languages train over time. And this is the work of historical linguistics. Now with this, for example, when we say picked and spicked, when we process these two words, we do not rest the difference. And we do not think that there are differences. But when we use software application, when a vocalist software to analyze these two words, you can see that this sound and this sound, these two phonemes are different. This one is aspirate, it is stronger, so it will punch a bit more, explosion. When the sound is made, picked and spicked, right? Okay, now, so these are the 3 steps of comparing and contrasting sounds. First step, we do an inventory. An inventory is, a chart. We have to describe all of the details, all of the characteristics, all of the features of the sounds. So we inventorize the phonemes of the 2 languages using charts. Now these inventories are normally already made by phonologists to use, and you do not have to create the whole inventory because it will cost you a huge amount of time, and you also need to have a lot of expertise together with talent, good ears, in order to tell the phonemes correctly apart. So as a contrastivist or as a researcher, especially beginning researcher like you, our job will be to compare and contrast. And we say equate the phonological category across the two languages. So like this language has this category, and this category exists in this language. For consonants, normally we adopt the IPA chart for describing sounds. And it has manner of articulation and place articulation. And then for vowels, normally we use the vowel diagram in which we have open, close, mid, front, and back. Right. So what is the open front vowel in English? What is the most open front vowel? In English? I mean, it is made here. When we say O, it's here. R, E. When I E, it's close. E. Wow. U is here and it's close. So what is the shape? Now let's come back to this. What is the shape of the vowel chart in English? It's like this, right? Trapezium. Right? Then we have E. E is more frontal than R. R is right here, right? R, but open and front. So R, E, U, and R. So are the four corners. Right. Like this. So we have front, back, close, open to describe the position or the place of articulation for vowels. Can you give me examples of voiceless vowels? Can anybody give me example of voiceless vowel?
All vowels are
Are you sure? How about the people over here? Huh? Pick up a voiceless vowel for me. You forget all of those stuff. Vowels are always voiced. Okay? Keep that in mind. Right. If you want to add the manner of the tongue to the description up to the inventory, then we have tense and lax. I mean, the tongue is spread down a little bit in lax position, like big and big, and the muscle will be less tense. Vote. shows all categories in terms of manner and place of articulation. So, with place of articulation, we have from the lips back to the topic in our speech organs. So we can have labial, linguodental, interdental, alveolar, palatal, and velar glottal. By the way, what is IPA short for? What? International Phonetic? What? Association. Okay. And they have a very big website on the web. If you need to type phonetic simple in different languages, you can come there, download their phone. And they also have a range of software applications that are used for the research on phonetic technology. So, when we need to describe consonants in a language, it's quite regular to use an IPA chart like this. Of course, foremost international IPA chart will more, dense. It's very thick with a lot of consonants that are found in all languages, like this. This is the international IPA chart, in which nearly all consonants across languages are added together with diacritics to describe their variants. Okay, so what is step number 1? To make things short. What is step number 1? Answer the 3 questions. No. What is question number 1? We do this, right? We make the chart. So what will we say? Inventorize. This is what it is about. We create an inventory, so we inventorize the sounds that we are about to contrast. Now, in the next step, we will start contrasting the sounds using the inventory that we have just created. And our job at this stage is to discuss the allophone of each phoneme found in the chart. For example, with English, we have aspirated and unaspirated voiceless consonants, as you see on the screen. And in Vietnamese, we do not have the aspirated. Right? Another example is the case of English and German. While in German we have only one allophone of L. So L will be exactly the same in links and left and bow. This is a German word. While in English, depending on the distribution, when it is at the beginning, it is a regular L. When it is at the end, like this, it is a lateral L. Yeah. So the lip will spread out a little bit. Link, it is curve. And when you say pull, spread out a little bit. Right? So these are the to allophone, or L, depending on their distribution, whether they are at the beginning or whether they are at the end of the sound. Now in the last step, we state the distributional restriction on the allophones and the phonemes. It means we describe the context or the environment in which those cases of allophone distribution may occur. The key point here is that with the same allophone, we may have different versions or different variants when that allophone is found in different contexts. Now, so this is an example to illustrate that point. Depending on the distribution of the sound, we may have a different position of distribution, and that can be source of difficulties for language learners. In French, and in both French and English, we have these two phonemes: zone, yellow, légère, and raw. What does it mean? It's still about something here. Raw, the throat, right? So raw. Now, je. In French, you see, it can be at the beginning. It can be in the middle position, or it can be at the end of the syllable. While in English, you see, je always occurs at the end of the syllable. So you have rouge, measure, like this. Now, from this contrast, we can come to the conclusion that because English people, they are only familiar with this sound at the end of the syllable. When they say this, for example, they would tend to use a sound that normally occurs at the beginning in English to relate this. So they can say j, Joe, for example, instead of zone, because of the difference in the distribution of the sound. Seen something